Welcome to Think Tech on OC16, Hawaii's weekly newscast on things that matter to tech and to Hawaii. I'm your host, Duke Oishi.
And I'm your co-host for today, Rechung Fujihira.
In our show tonight, we'll cover RAPIDS, or RAPIDS, a high-tech perimeter security system created in a collaboration of 4 separate dual-use companies in Hawaii. RAPIDS stands for Remote Adaptable Perimeter Intrusion Detection System.
RAPIDS was developed by 4 Hawaii dual-use technology companies: Advanced Fusion Technologies from Lehue, Kauai, Concentrus Systems at the Manoa Innovation Center, Oceanit in downtown Honolulu, and Pukoa Scientific also at Manoa Innovation Center.
We'll visit the rollout presentation at the Manoa Innovation Center and talk with some of the collaborators involved.
The system was rolled out in front of a crowd of tech, business, and government observers at Manoa Innovation Center last week. Jeff Kruger of Advanced Fusion Technologies presented the system.
This is actually amazing. 4 companies coming together to develop a product in less than 6 months. Not only to develop it, but to test it. So RAPIDS is an advanced perimeter security system. It combines innovative technologies from other companies, and it includes best-of-breed commercial off-the-shelf technologies as well. Combines those two into a complete perimeter intrusion package. It is completely mobile. It's self-contained. It's self-powered. You can go out there and inspect the equipment. There are no wires. It's built on an open architecture. It's highly adaptable. We can, depending on your needs, we can actually integrate various sensors into the system very easily. The system not only identifies intruders, but it also tracks them. It also includes a very unique product, which is called nanoconcrete, and it's a weight-sensing concrete material. What's shown on the ground here is actually the nanoconcrete, and that's the pressure-sensitive concrete I was talking about, which I'll go into more detail. These were simulated intruders carrying plastic M16, AK-47, nanoconcrete material, wireless mesh node, this is our command and control center. Tactical displays, video displays. What we've done is we've kind of put together a graphic of how RAPIDS can be adapted to support different areas. If you take a typical city, municipality, you might have a runway, you've got buildings, you've got ports and harbors, right? As a flight line or border type security, RAPIDS sensors, radar sensors can be placed along the entire flight line or border. You can also place nanoconcrete on certain areas to detect intruders. Every node has a camera on it. And again, all this information then would be transferred up to a command post. For building perimeter facility security, typically you might want to secure the entire perimeter, or maybe for a hotel it's just a loading dock area, so maybe a small portion of that area. But we could set up sensors that go around the entire facility or parts of that facility. Also, nanoconcrete could be placed in certain specific areas where intruders are walking. Port and harbor security. We can have nodes placed to actually that aren't using the microwave sensor, but are strictly using cameras and the detection and identification algorithms.
The crowd then retired to the Manoa Innovation Center parking lot, where we saw a live demonstration of the RAPIDS system. Its multiple sensors comprised of radar, camera, and nanoconcrete sensing devices, and its tracking software immediately locked onto the intruder, painted a red box around him on the display, and followed his every move inside the perimeter. It was impressive.
In this particular demonstration, we have two RAPIDS nodes. One's right back behind you here. The other one is over at the entrance to the Manoa Innovation Center. Each node has a camera attached to it. That camera is wirelessly the information is being wirelessly transmitted via our mesh node to our command console over here. We also have a message or alert window that's part of the command console, so that when intruders are detected either via the radar sensor or the nanoconcrete sensor, that alarm gets transmitted as well wirelessly over to our command console. What we're going to do here today is simulate an intrusion. Our volunteer is going to enter from the parking lot, traverse the radar sensor. You will see a message alarm come up on the display indicating that someone has entered into the secure perimeter. A box is drawn around the intruder or individual. Then our tracking algorithms actually track that intruder throughout the entire field of view. If you can see, he passed the radar sensor. The alarm tripped. That's indicated by a red flashing line on the display. And as you can see, he walked up towards us right now. There's our volunteer, Jim. The second item we want to show is a revolutionary new technology called nanoconcrete. We talked a little bit about this inside, and nanoconcrete is a completely stealthy sensing material. An intruder would never know that they're being detected when walking on nanoconcrete. This has great potential in the security market. The nanoconcrete that we're going to demonstrate to here is on a very small scale, of course. It's a single tile. But you could imagine that nanoconcrete could potentially be placed where they place sidewalks today. Our second volunteer is going to demonstrate our nanoconcrete technology by standing on the nanoconcrete. If we were within view of the nanoconcrete, we could have the camera nodes automatically pan to that. We're in this for the long run. All four companies are committed to this. We feel that this type of technology is unprecedented in the security market today. You know, we have interest on the military side right now. We do have interest on that side, so we're going through a very rigorous process to test it, to make sure it's can support the warfighter. They have a different set of requirements than the commercial side, right? So that's our first goal, is to get it to be very robust, such that it'll work in any military environment. And then, to me, that's a good selling point on the commercial side.
Later, we caught up with Ian Kitajima of Oceanit, one of the four collaborators, to discuss Ocean's pressure-sensitive nanoconcrete contribution to the RAPIDS system and the way the collaboration was organized.
The different elements that are part of our system you will find in different things. Right, so camera systems, wireless systems, sensors, but actually, so the systems you see today are pretty elaborate, very, very expensive. They typically have a certain perspective and approach, whereas this was really a collaboration, again, among four companies, which each brought kind of a specialty technology that then was really integrated together to work together to actually kind of create the synergy. All right, so the part that we have here is developed by Oceanit, which is the smart sensing concrete. So it acted like a tripwire, like a little twig in the forest. You know, somebody is walking kind of close, you hear that twig snap. So that's what this actually, the purpose of this system was to be the tripwire. That then that signal from this concrete would actually go over a wireless system that's specially developed for military applications. So it's a indestructible, instant kind of mesh network. So you turn on those wireless mesh nodes and they actually all sync up together, start communicating. If one of those nodes goes down, they actually reconfigure themselves. So if there's multiple nodes in the area, they'll basically reconfigure to keep the communications flowing. So this signal alert will always get to the intended target, intended back to the command center. Then back at the command center, what's really the heart of it is the software that Pukoa Scientific developed. And their software actually takes in all the sensor feeds from this sensor, from the camera sensors, the radar sensors, and actually meshes them all together and makes sense out of it. So essentially, if I'm in a command center, the thing you notice is that it's not like they don't have enough cameras, enough monitors. In fact, they have too many cameras, they have too many monitors. It's hard to know what to actually be looking for. So as this trips, we send alerts. As the cameras picks up things, we then alert. And all of it comes back to that command center that you saw. So pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And very, very difficult. I think a predecessor to this project was a project that was done a few years ago, and they had millions and years to actually develop that system, which again was a more robust, bigger, very expensive system. But in terms of, I think, the results we got in literally 6 months was, I think, impressed a lot of people.
So who were the other partners in this collaboration, and what did they bring?
Okay, so Pukoa Scientific did the software algorithms. So their software actually takes in the sensor feeds from the optical sensors, the radar, from our sensors or any other sensors, and actually fuses them together into a command center, and basically determines what is something as an alert, something that somebody at the command center should know about. So they had the difficult part of taking in all the feeds. And then again, concentric systems actually does the wireless mesh networks. So they provide the communication backbone that we all use to talk to each other. So the video feeds, the radar feeds, all of the sensor feeds actually come through that wireless network. And they do a great job.
Who am I missing? Is that all four? No.
And then actually, Advanced Fusion Technologies, which is based on Kauai, they actually did the integration work. So they were kind of like the overall project manager, keeping us on track, getting everything together, pulling us together, keeping us on schedule, on budget. And they were really the lead to kind of organize us and get us all together. And then, of course, Ocean did the smart concrete.
So in the display, the demonstration yesterday, you had somebody walking through a parking lot, and the system was tracking him in a red box. I wouldn't want to be in that red box. Something about being in a red box
doesn't sound really good. Yeah, I mean that's part of it, right? If you're in the red box, we're
bad
tracking
things
you.
could happen
bad
to
things
you.
could happen to you. No, not bad things. But
so in that way, I mean that's the result of this integration. In other words, the system was triggered maybe when he stepped on the nano concrete, and then the sensors began following him, and the comprehensive software was lining it all up and building the red box wherever he went.
Yeah, the whole idea is, again, I think one of the big challenges everyone faces who's trying to do security is that you don't have enough manpower. I mean, you could spend tremendous amounts of people and labor just deploying people out there to be looking for people and tracking things. So you don't have those kinds of luxuries, and no one ever had those luxuries, I think. And so, but how do you make these systems better? How do you make them smarter? How do you let them help you use a very minimal group of folks to actually monitor and do surveillance of a very large area? So these systems are really, the work we did in this first phase of the project was really for base protection. So how do you secure a very large base in the case of, for example, the Marine Corps Base Hawaii or PMRF, where you have oceans surrounding your entire base. It's feasible, very feasible for somebody to just not know and kind of be rowing their canoe or their paddle stand-up board and actually come right onto the base.
So you have to put these at intervals then, if you want to catch the whole perimeter of a base like that.
Right. In the case of PMRF or the Marine Corps base, you can imagine putting tiles along. You don't have to put up a fence. A lot of times you can't put up any fences. You have to keep that area open, but have a running track that goes down the length of the base, and it looks just like a concrete sidewalk. And lo and behold, you're not supposed to be coming on, or maybe you just don't know, right? So maybe it's a safety issue because at PMRF, the airfield is actually slightly elevated. So it's actually very easy to actually not realize that you're at one point that you're actually stepping onto the runway until it's too late, until you're like, oh, I'm actually on the runway. But if you have a warning track, that again just looks like a sidewalk. As soon as I start walking on that sidewalk, at least somebody will know, the cameras will all start going, hey, there's somebody walking here on the south end of the runway. And then the security people can at least go, okay, that's, we have to go send somebody out there. This person looks like they're coming from the beach, and they don't realize that they're actually on the base.
So it's really mix and match. You could reconfigure this for different
Exactly.
situations and make sure that however big this base was, you could get every corner of it. Nobody
Sure.
could get through that way.
Now, the thing that was unique about this current implementation of this was that it was designed to be portable, mobile. So when you have a temporary security need for perimeter security, that's what this system was developed for. Now, concrete is not very portable, but you could think of applications, again, where you have harsh conditions. And again, APEC is a perfect example. Now, we're not at APEC to actually be used at APEC, but you could imagine for hotels or other areas where it's really important for you to set up a perimeter security. You want to know if anybody is coming into the area that is not authorized to come into the area, or just know that, okay, I have guys coming in, but I know that that's my security detail team that's coming in. Because they just radioed that they're coming in, but at least I know that's them. They're coming in from the south side versus how come there's people coming in from the north side? What's going on? And so this could be set up as a perimeter setup. And a lot of it at the demonstration you saw, it was all battery powered. None of it was plugged in. It was all battery powered.
Mm-hmm.
The optical systems, the radar systems, the nanoconcrete, all of those things are actually being powered by like a portable battery system.
The RAPIDS system includes multiple systems and innovations, and we believe it will attract a huge market, not only with military, security, and law enforcement organizations, but with all kinds of business establishments that need to protect their important assets, forces, and perimeters.
We'll hear more about the RAPIDS system going forward, not only in the configuration that was demonstrated in the parking lot at the Manoa Innovation Center, but in many other uses and configurations. Each one of these individual component products and systems that came from the collaborators is promising in its own right, and we'll hear more about them too.
The Manoa Innovation Center brought these 4 collaborators together, so the development of the RAPIDS system is also a tribute to the Manoa Innovation Center as a place where tech and dual-use innovations can come together. Credit goes to all the contributing companies and to the Manoa Innovation Center for their vision and cooperation in the development of this system. Credit also goes to the tech and dual-use industries in Hawaii for having reached this level of maturity. Only good things can come of it.
Now, here's our ThinkTech calendar of events going forward.
The first thing is that ThinkTech's 4 to 5 p.m. weekday drive time radio series on KGU 760 AM started last month, covering business, Asia, tech, energy, the arts, and government. Tune in and stay tuned to 760 AM every afternoon at 4 p.m. and raise your awareness on ThinkTech Radio.
On Thursday, November 17th, the Hawaii Venture Capital Association and ThinkTech will present the Entrepreneur of the Year Awards at the Plaza Club, featuring various awardees along with remarks from our governor, Neil Abercrombie. Sign up at hvca.org.
And here's Jay Fidel with a ThinkTech commentary.
Aloha, I'm Jay Fidel. Local biofuel is the latest target in the war against renewables, and now the State Public Utilities Commission has issued a ruling based on its concern that biofuel will cost too much. Is that concern valid or short-sighted? Will it take us forward or back? In 2010, Hawaiian Electric Company sought to obtain competitively priced biofuel. It chose Ainako Opono as the best qualified and negotiated a biofuel purchase agreement for 16 million gallons annually for 20 years at a fixed price. This would create 300 construction jobs and 100 operational jobs and resurrect agriculture in Kau on Hawaii Island. It was a dream deal. Local company, local investment, local labor, local feedstock, sending less money overseas, increasing energy security, reducing vulnerability to oil volatility, producing utility-scale renewables that can be shipped anywhere in the state without waiting for an undersea cable, building the economy and making us look good. So good, you'd think we'd snap it up. Ainako Opono planned to build a $350 million, 13,000-acre, cutting-edge biofuel energy farm on private land that had been fallow for decades. In January 2011, HECO asked the PUC to approve the contract and the related biodiesel surcharge. Consumer advocate Jeff Ono found the contract was reasonable and in the best interest of the consumers. 10 months later, the PUC rejected the contract on the basis that the price was, quote, excessive, not cost-effective, and thus unreasonable and inconsistent with the public interest, end quote. Its decision focused on the difference between the price and long-term oil forecasts that are predictably unpredictable. It did not respond to Ainako Opono's calculation that the contract would only add $2 a month to the average consumer utility bill, nor did it address the consumer advocate's finding or the state's clean energy goals and policies. The law specifically requires the PUC to consider the long-term benefits of projects that may incur larger short-term costs than fossil fuel. Shouldn't the PUC have found that higher short-term costs are justified by our energy goals? These energy goals, that is to reduce dependency on imported oil, develop local renewables, and enhance energy security, and our broader economic goals, that is to develop a diversified and sustainable economy, are deeply embedded in state law and recognize the need for substantial investment to attain these goals. Neither the parties nor the administration liked this decision. HECO publicly expressed its disappointment and asked the PUC to extend its time to contest the ruling. The consumer advocate asked that the PUC clarify its ruling. Ainako Opono is moving to sell its biofuel to a mainland oil company for more than the price with HECO. Right now, there is no other utility-scale source of biofuel in Hawaii. The actual price of the Ainako Opono biofuel was sealed by the PUC and is not public, but it's likely to be less than the cost of the biofuel shipped in from the West Coast. So now, HECO has the Sophie's choice of using imported biofuel at a cost greater than local biofuel, or continuing to use imported oil for its generating plants. Like the PUC's decision on Big Wind, the biofuel decision puts us back years and demoralizes the industry. It doesn't provide a solution, but only a barrier. It rejects the arm's-length deal negotiated by the parties and approved by the consumer advocate, and deprives Hawaii County of huge economic benefits. This is not progress. These decisions make our energy initiative a lot harder and less promising. They cast a long shadow over our energy aspirations and will affect every one of us. If we fail to move ahead now, we'll pay more to move ahead later. Mark Glick, our new energy administrator, has his work cut out for him. No question that the work of the PUC is challenging. But next time, to avoid the severity of a yes-no result, perhaps the PUC could make these pricing parameters public and have its staff negotiate or participate in a mediation to achieve a business resolution that will save biofuel and get us back on track. I'm Jay Fidel. Mahalo.
And here's our co-working entrepreneurs, Rechung Fujihira and Tony Stanford, to keep us current on their latest thrills and spills at the Box Jelly.
This week, we're working on building our communities in multiple ways. First off, we're improving our EIR program, which is Entrepreneur in Residence, which is have people in our community be able to talk to experienced entrepreneurs. One that's coming on is Hank Rogers. Also, this week, we've learned to expand our community even more, so working with High Capacity, which we had a very successful event of working with the Xbox Connect.
So they basically took the Kinect, which is kind of like a sensor, a vision sensor that uses infrared, and they hacked into it and make it do all kinds of cool things. And we'll probably be doing another more in-depth workshop next month as well.
So it was a great turnout, and it was probably one of our biggest events to date.
Yeah, so on the 16th, we're going to be having an event with Aloha Startups and Startup Weekend. These two organizations are doing a mixer. We're going to have Leanne Miyasato from the Entrepreneur Foundation coming in as our speaker. And we've had a new coworker come into the space on that note, and his name is Brent Kojak, and he is the founder of Healthcare Options. We also had Elise Peterson come in as part of the YIMBY program with Envision Hawaii. Envision is an organization that promotes small business in Hawaii. And the YIMBY program is Yes in My Backyard. It's comprised of 6 young entrepreneurs, and they come every other week.
So come by and check us out at the Box Jelly. Work the way you live.
Place to work,
Place to meet.
a place to build. We'll be right back to wrap up this week's edition of Think Tech. But first, we want to thank our underwriters.
Thanks to the Scheidler Family Foundation, who supports a number of educational, cultural, and charitable organizations, including Think Tech.
Hawaiian Electric Company and its affiliates Miko on Maui and Helco on the Big Island are deeply committed to the communities they serve.
Galen Ho is a senior executive of BAE Systems, a global defense, security, and aerospace company, and CEO of CBI Polymers, a tech company in Hawaii.
Oceanit, another local tech company, is one of Hawaii's largest and most diversified science and technology companies.
Okay, Rechung. That wraps up this week's edition of Think Tech. Remember, you can watch Think Tech on OC16 several times every week. Can't get enough of it, just like Jay Fidel does. For additional times, check out OC16.tv.
You bet, Duke. And for more Think Tech videos and for underwriting and sponsorship opportunities on Think Tech on OC16, visit thinktechhawaii.com. Be a sponsor. Help us reach Hawaii.
And I'm Duke Oishi. Thanks for joining us on Think Tech. Aloha, everyone.
I'm Rechung Fujihira. See you next time.